Drone attacks, hijackings, and sinkings. Houthi rebels have turned one of the world's most critical trade routes into a zone of terror. Thousands of miles away, distress calls from targeted vessels
We're attacked by 2 missiles.
Are routed here to the UK Navy's 911 service for shipping, which has seen an 8-fold increase in incidents year on year, and where a team of civilians are at the centre of efforts to keep the world's cargo ships safe from attacks.
I think the only ones that have never spoken to us are the North Koreans.
The Royal Navy unit covers this zone, spanning parts of the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden and Arabian Sea, an area critical for the flow of trade between the East and West. In the past year, Houthi rebels have struck over 100 ships travelling through the narrow Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the gateway to around $1 trillion in goods annually.
The Houthis, which are a Yemen rebel group, has been basically attacking vessels. The Houthis started to retaliate over the war in Gaza in solidarity with the Palestinians.
We were now looking at a sudden overnight escalation from maybe 1 or 2 incidents in that area every 2 to 3 months to 8 incidents a day, multiple vessels involved, multiple nationalities, multiple threats.
While many ships are rerouting using the longer and more expensive route around the Cape of Good Hope, defending those that continue through the strait is a huge challenge.
The cost is enormous, and there has been no solution yet. For the US, it's more than $1 billion, just in the first few months in the cost of retaliating and stopping these attacks.
US warships are escorting vessels in a bid to protect the shipping lane as part of a wider containment strategy. This has also involved striking Houthi weapons launch points and storage facilities. But those stocks keep being replenished.
Every time the Houthis get hit, their launch points, arsenals get hit, they get more from Iran, typically, either missiles or drones.
These smuggling routes mean the Houthi strikes on vessels are continuing. In this video, released by the Houthis, the So Union crude oil tanker is seen under attack. The UKMTO received a distress call from the master of the vessel or person in charge as the armed militants approached.
She'd been boarded by the bad guys and they set explosions off, and it literally, we were trying to glean the information. Was it true? Outside agencies said, have you had any reports? We try and get as much information from the master, because to a lot of masters we are the first point of contact. We are, some people think, an emergency service. We haven't got the assets, but we know the people with the assets.
The team worked very hard to manage that information, to triage it and assess it and then disseminate it in very quick time.
Locating vessels in distress is a key part of the team's work, but it can be complicated by the vessel's own attempts to stay safe. Automatic identification systems, or AIS, are radio signals that help ships avoid collisions. But to try and dodge attacks, they're often switched off while transiting in this dangerous waterway. That made attempts to locate the Ruby Mar, a cargo ship hit by the Houthis, even more difficult. The ship, carrying 22,000 metric tons of fertilizer, started to sink after the attack.
She was slowly taking on water. Her AIS was switched off. We were asking masters, as they were tracking through, if they could give us a position for her. After, I think, several weeks, she finally did vanish.
Despite efforts by the US and its allies to target Houthi infrastructure, the UKMTO has received and taken over 86% more calls year on year.
And you're happy for us to share this information with our coalition forces, so is that correct?
And has ramped up its exercises in order to remain alert.
They're Filipino.
And what flag is it?
It's Antigua and Barbuda.
So it's been pretty efficient from the Houthi side. They've suffered very little damage from US and UK and also Israeli strikes in terms of the deep impact. Their leadership is still alive. Their arsenal is being refurbished by Iran on a continuous, with continuous flows coming through smuggling. So that combination means they're able to continuously attack shipping. There's also been supply of satellite coordinates that initially came from Russia.
This data allowed the Houthis to more accurately target vessels. The Russia-Houthi cooperation has also deepened ties between groups Washington sees as its adversaries. How long the Houthis will continue to bombard the waterway remains in question.
Their official assessment is to say that, until there is a ceasefire in Gaza, they won't stop. The Western intelligence sources I speak to don't believe that. They think that they're kind of on the high. They've never been as visible and as popular. They used to be a very small, faction. They want to keep the momentum going.
In addition to targets in the Red Sea, the Houthis have also launched ballistic missiles and drones at Israel. Tel Aviv has responded by targeting energy infrastructure inside Yemen. Some analysts believe ending the Houthi reign of terror will require more than just military action, including both economic and diplomatic solutions. Until that happens, UKMTO will remain on the forefront of the fight to save lives.
The people who make up UKMTO, who are answering the phones, they're here because the safety of mariners at sea really does matter to them.